geographical region, known as Oceania, includes Australia, New Zealand, and more than 10,000 other islands in the Central and South Pacific. It's the only region that has this type of geography, dominated by water rather than land, as the name Oceania suggests. In this video, we'll explore the physical geography of Oceania. We'll examine how migrants from mainland Asia gradually populated Oceania's many islands, and we'll discover how First Nations peoples are resisting social and environmental pressures to preserve their cultures. Oceania contains 4 geographic subregions: Australasia, Melanesia, Micronesia, and Polynesia. Much of Oceania is under the Pacific Ocean, a vast body of water which covers nearly 1/3 of the planet. Australasia is dominated by Australia, Oceania's largest landmass and the world's smallest continent, and the islands of New Zealand. Micronesia contains just over 2,000 islands, the largest of which is Guam. The island region of Melanesia is part of the Ring of Fire, a string of volcanoes which runs along the edge of the Pacific. And Polynesia stretches across the ocean from Tonga and Samoa to Easter Island and Hawaii. The thousands of islands, keys, and islets which make up Oceania have a wide range of ecosystems, from tropical rainforests to mangroves and wetlands. And a warm climate means that it is generally hot and humid throughout the year. Their relative isolation means that the flora and fauna across the region is unique, with a number of species not found anywhere else on Earth. Much of the physical landscape of Oceania has been shaped by the settlement of the people who came to live there. It's believed that the first people migrated to Oceania from mainland Southeast Asia between 40,000 to 50,000 years ago, when sea levels were lower and short sea crossings and land bridges connected Papua New Guinea, Australia, and Tasmania. Aboriginal settlement was a gradual process that took place over thousands of years. From around 1500 BCE, people began to move east of New Guinea. Travel to the islands was facilitated by developments in seacraft, including the creation of double-hulled outrigger canoes, and increasingly advanced navigational systems based on observation of the stars, sea swells, and the movement of birds. Archaeological evidence has shown that these people domesticated plants and animals and took them on their journeys so that they could live on islands where food was scarce. By roughly 900 BCE, the islands of Melanesia, including Fiji, had been settled. Gradually, people reached the outskirts of Polynesia, including Hawaii, and even as far as Easter Island. Interestingly, New Zealand was one of the last Pacific islands to be settled, with the first people arriving around 1250 CE. Migration, however, is only one way of understanding human habitation of this region. Across Oceania, different groups of people developed distinct cultural and ethnic identities over many thousands of years. In New Zealand, the Eastern Polynesians who first came there are today known as the Maori. The Maori have a deep spiritual connection to the land and consider themselves physical and spiritual guardians of the earth. They developed legends to explain the environment and landscape. According to the Maori creation story, Papatuanuku, the Earth Mother, and Ranganui, the Sky Father, were once physically connected. Their offspring pushed them apart to bring light into the world. For the Maori, their children represent different parts of the natural world. But the arrival of the Maori also changed the environment they lived in. By the 14th century, the Maori were clearing land to grow crops. Over a period of 500 years, New Zealand's ancient forests had been reduced by around 30%. Nearly 40 species of birds became extinct as a result of habitat destruction, hunting, and the introduction of non-native animals such as rats and dogs. Australian Aboriginals also developed legends to explain the landscape around them. Dreamtime stories are an important foundation of Aboriginal culture and religion, thought to date back around 65,000 years. They describe the beginning of time, when the spirits created the land, hills, rivers, plants, animals, and people. Spread across the ocean, the Pacific Island people live in a range of environments, from the mountains of Papua New Guinea to the atolls and lagoons of the Central Pacific. Today, Oceania continues to be home to the world's most diverse Indigenous cultures. and more than 10% of the world's discovered languages are in Papua New Guinea. But global politics, economic development, and environmental change are posing significant threats to the islands within Oceania, with storms and rising sea levels causing loss of land and damaging groundwater supplies. Despite these challenges, Indigenous communities continue to preserve their heritages. More recently, governments throughout Oceania have responded by establishing areas of land for cultural and biological conservation. These enable the Māori of New Zealand, for example, to act as stewards of the natural world by protecting and preserving the remnants of ancient forests. Indigenous unity and identity has also been unified through sport. The All Blacks, New Zealand's national rugby team, performed the haka, a Māori traditional ceremonial dance traditionally performed by warriors before battle at every game. Pacific languages, traditional dance and music are all celebrated as part of their cultural heritage, and there are a growing number of events dedicated to promoting oceanic culture. The Pacifica Festival takes place annually in Auckland, New Zealand, a city known as the biggest Polynesian city in the world. And at the Festival of Pacific Arts, which usually takes place in a different country every 4 years, oceanic culture is celebrated on the global stage. With no written language, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people traditionally communicated with storytelling and song. They developed songlines, oral maps to guide them on their journeys and help them find food, water, and important landmarks as they travelled across Australia. They also shared information and ideas through painting and design. Aboriginal art is today a popular and respected contemporary art form. In recognition of the traditions of First Nations Australians, significant landmarks have been renamed with their Aboriginal name. Uluru, a famous tourist destination also known as Ayers Rock, is a place of spiritual and cultural significance to Aboriginal people, said to have been formed by ancestral beings. While parts of Oceania share a cultural or colonial history, what the region shares most is their physical isolation. An area like no other, Oceania is rich with unique and diverse landscapes and ecosystems critical to global biodiversity and scientific and environmental study. It could be the key to the future of the Pacific Ocean.